Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar brought to you by OptionsCity and Advantage Futures. We are here live at OptionsCity headquarters in Chicago, Illinois for the webinar OptionsCity and Advantage Futures present Bringing Algos to Life. I'm Patrick Gardner and I'm going to introduce the main speakers today from Advantage Futures, the Senior Vice President of Technology, Ambaj Sharma. Thanks for being here again.
Thank you.
We've done a few of these with you before. Always glad to have you back. As well as from OptionsCity on the Algo product management side, Andrew Lizzie. He's worked at a few different firms before. His years of experience in the Algo side after starting on a convertible bond desk. He's worked at a couple firms here in Chicago in more automated market making and Algo. He's worked at Getco and Peak 6 recently before joining the team at OptionsCity.
Thanks, Pat.
And just a original housekeeping note, I think some of you may have seen this event upcoming here, the Chicago Algorithmic Trading Conference for developers by developers that OptionsCity is putting on. Just want to tell everyone to stay tuned till the end of the presentation today, and there will be an opportunity to get a free pass for it for the first 20 or so people. And moving forward, a quick intro to both of our firms. I imagine everyone on the webinar is familiar with OptionsCity as a technology vendor providing platforms for options-specific traders, as well as algorithmic traders on our platform, OptionsCity Freeway, and Advantage Futures, a futures clearing company, as well as technology and infrastructure provider that you'll hear a little bit more about right now. And we'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Ambaj, who will kind of kick things off for us here. Go,
Hello,
Ambaj.
everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'll first start off just a little bit info on Advantage, as some of you may not be aware. Advantage currently has 10 data centers with redundant exchange connections in all our data centers. We currently are clearing members of 14 different exchanges, futures exchanges. We have a 24-hour global execution desk and a technology staff that's available 24 hours a day, someone on site in the office. Currently, we're at 80 employees that help operate the firm. We have close to over $500 million in client seg funds, and that's as of December of 2012. We've cleared 290 plus million contracts in 2012. We started our firm in June of 2003, so in 2 days here, it'll be our 10-year anniversary. I didn't even realize that.
All right.
And since our inception, we've cleared 2.5 billion contracts, maybe a little bit above that by now. These numbers might be a little bit outdated. This next slide here, advanced technology, you guys can all kind of just read the bullet points on here. I'll just talk a little bit briefly about how the advanced technology comes into play when we talk Advantage Futures and OptionsCity. First of all, I want to start off by saying that OptionsCity offers a hosted solution which has worked out very well for Advantage in the past and Advantage clients. Quite often we have clients that are new to either trading options or new to trading options electronically. They might have been pit traders and trading in the S&P options pit or Eurodollar options pit and are looking to move on to doing electronic trading. But some guys don't want to quite invest, $10,000 or $15,000 a month in hardware, and they don't want to pay, $1,000+ a month in hosting fees until they vet out if this is the real thing for them to do. So recently, we've had several clients that have come along, and we've offered the hosted solution, and OptionsCity charges a $500 monthly fee on top of their licensing fees. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
No, that's correct.
And it's it gives you the ability to trade. All we do is we end up providing an idling session to OptionsCity for whatever, if they want to trade CME or ICE, whatnot they want to trade. We provide the trading credentials. We have risk control access to their environment, so we can manage risk on their hosted environment, and guys are off and running. From there, sometimes guys can decide that is the right tool for them, and they'll get a little bit more advanced with that. And some real-time stories we have are there's guys that are currently, they trade on OptionsCity from their office. They have a server that's co-located in the data center, whether it be in Cermak or Aurora. They have traders that are trading on the trading floor on tablets, so they need to wirelessly access their server that's doing all the horsepower and the brain power computing. They may also want to connect to it from home over the internet, so we expose with security, we expose the OptionCity server with an external net, so they can connect to it via the web and get, coalesce market data and, still do some trading off of there, or, just manage their algos that are running on the data center, and their workstation just kind of plays as a dummy terminal, and they're just getting reporting of any fills or position management that they may need to do. So when it gets to advanced technology, we come in pretty handy in the sense that if you're a floor trader, we can get you, you host a server in our data center, we can get you access to the server from the trading floor, whether it be in a booth or on a pen tablet, or you could be in one of our offices that's 10 gigabit connected to Cermak, 10 gigabits to Aurora, all on dark fiber, so you can access your server that way. You can do any type of trading you need to on your OptionCity server, or just order management and position management. And lastly, you can also connect to your server from home if it's bad weather or you don't feel like making the commute that day. Business can still run. We have guys that have, clerks that are in the pits doing what they need to, and the server's doing all the brain power, and the head trader is sitting at his house managing everything that's going on. So we can give you the flexibility with the advanced technology that we have on hand, in conjunction with getting started off with the OptionCity hosted solution if you need to, or there's guys that come online and they say, we don't want to be in a hosted solution, we don't want to be in a shared environment, I want my own dedicated box, whether their setup be simple or be complex, and we can help in any of those arenas that you need help with. We can move on to the next slide. This next slide talks a little bit about why use automated trading. I feel like this slide's a little bit outdated. We used this in the past, but I think nowadays the real question is, how should you utilize automated trading? And I'll start off with we have a lot of clients that when I think of Algos, I think of ADL, which is Algo Design Lab, that TT came out with maybe a year ago. They bought a company called Ticket, and they launched something called ADL, and we have a lot of traction with that. A lot of our clients have taken their point and click trading, and it's helped them very easily transition to Algos without needing a lot of coding or a lot of development resources. They get a blank canvas and they can draw Algos. It's object oriented, so you just click, drag, drop, and build Algos that way. And we've seen a lot of traction for that. We have a lot of these servers in house. But then once you do that, it's TT. It's a great software, but it's still a client to a gateway relationship. So the ADL server has to talk to a TT gateway, which then talks to the exchange. So then we have some guys that kind of graduate from ADL and they think it becomes a little bit more, they need a little bit more speed, or they need a little bit more complexity in their software. They don't want to use a window-based application because it can, it has some overhead and latency. They'd rather use, Linux or Unix-based systems. And that's when we kind of introduce them to OptionCity, and then we go from there. And they can, start off, they keep their ADL, but they also hop into OptionCity hosted environment and see how that is and if that plays out for them. And options in general, options on futures they're more intense than what TT can show with just the RFQ functionality that it has. On OptionCity, you can do a lot more with options when it comes to designing algos or just trading algos and algo options in general. It's just more robust. I think the infrastructure was designed for options trading, and I think that's the easiest way I can put it. Where TT was designed for for the bond trader, the Eurodollar trading, outrights and scalping futures. So I think that's the decisions that are being made nowadays. Is how do guys go about using automation? The question of should they use automation, I feel, is a little bit outdated. I think every trader is using some form of automation, whether they realize it or not today. From here, I think I'll hand it off to Andrew.
Thanks a lot, Ambaj. So what I'm going to talk about today is, and expand a little bit about on what Ambaj just said, is kind of the process of going from your initial conception of a trading algorithm to getting that into production and managing the life cycle of that algorithm as you continue to use it over what sometimes can be several years. As Pat mentioned at the beginning, I had some experience in the algorithmic space at a couple different firms. And I think what you'll find, and what I hope to show you over this presentation, is that algorithmic trading is a pretty broad term. So, what people typically think about, or at least people I've talked to when they think about algorithmic trading, they immediately gravitate towards hedge funds or really secretive proprietary trading firms that have these really expensive algorithms and lots of really high-tech lines and co-located equipment. That is a portion of the game, but I think what's also really important to realize is that a lot of the technology has really flowed down from 10 years ago or so when algorithmic trading was first kind of starting to become in vogue, and has now hit a lot of the trading applications that any trader will use on a daily basis. So on this list up here, you see just a couple things that that kind of go from really anything to that to sophisticated execution, which anybody has access to through vendors and through third parties. Portfolio optimization, auto fitting, things like that. And I think what the value that this is starting to provide to a lot of the non-traditional algorithmic traders, such as the groups of 2 or 3 people that came up from the pit, is really kind of an extra set of hands, a way to efficiently trade a lot of different ideas that they've seen in the market or that they want to monitor. So I think that's really the important thing to keep in mind here, is that algos can do more than just execute and do more than just generate alpha for you as a trader. They can also provide you information. They can blink a light when when certain conditions are hit, and really just act as kind of like an automated clerk in some sense. So I think the important thing to kind of start with is the idea that designing the algorithm, the most important step is really designing the logic. I think a lot of people get a little bit hung up on the whole idea of coding and Java or C++ or whatnot, when really I think the most important part is something that every trader already does, either in their mind or in their own process, which is just think about what happens when certain things in the market occur. And so I think the point here is that the logic itself can be anywhere. You can mock it up in an Excel diagram or sketch it out on a cocktail napkin. It doesn't really matter, as long as you've kind of thought through that logic and what should happen when specific events trigger. That's pretty easy for a developer to then go and build that into code. And the code itself and the platform itself are very important, but most of what's important with the algos is the logic itself. That's where the secret sauce or the trader intuition really comes in. Some of the things you have to consider when you're thinking about this are, how should this algo work? What are the inputs and what are the outputs? When these pieces of market data, A, B, and C, come in, then it should fire an order. How often should it run if it's, for instance, a risk management job or a portfolio hedger? And once you've kind of thought about these, it's really just filling in some gaps from there. I like the idea, this is an actual cocktail napkin and an actual, diagram that I drew out. This is a really basic idea of a portfolio hedger that'll run every 5 seconds and take a look at your equities portfolio. I know a lot of you may not trade equities, but it would be very similar for any other product. Look at your delta, look at your correlations between your different equities, and then hedge that portfolio flat using SPY, indexes. So really the block diagram here is, it's fairly simple, and kind of going from there, once you have that, it's a fairly easy jump to either having a developer on site or we have several consultants that we work with, having them actually put it into code. And I think the whole putting it into code part is important because that's really where you're going to start to see a lot of the benefits over the entire life cycle of that algo. So about those benefits, I think what's important to realize is that when you're building an algo and when you're designing something that is going to be really a core of your business, you're putting a lot of time and effort and money into that. So you really want to choose the best possible tools available. Some things to consider are when you're actually using a real programming language, there's a lot of features and functionality built out around those programming languages that have kind of evolved over, in some cases, decades to make that programming language run very efficiently, make it very easy to use, make it very easy to maintain. And the advantage to using a system such as Java, which is what Freeway uses, is that you have literally thousands of developers all over the world that are constantly tweaking it, making it fast, making it reliable, building tools around Java that will allow you to keep that algorithm up to date and easy to understand. And this ends up having a very big impact when you start thinking on the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year horizon, because what you'll find is that a lot of that production code that you write today may very well still be in production in 2 or 3 years, but you'll have built a lot of things on top of it. And by designing your algorithms correctly the first time and using the right tools the first time, you're going to find that the life cycle there, the next 6 months or 2 years or whatever, becomes very easy for you and gives you a very good base to build on. So once you've actually built that algo, once you or your developer has taken that that cocktail napkin and put it into code, the next step obviously is making sure it's working the way it should work. This is a fairly nuanced portion of the algo lifecycle, because you want to be able to test it with simulated but real life market conditions, and really have almost the full functionality of the exchange or the products that you're trying to use. One thing that we focus on a lot with Freeway is our simulator. So with our simulator, we pump in real market data. It's live. It's data connected to the real exchange that you connect to. And then what we do is also give you a simulated matching engine that you can submit sandbox orders to see how they would match, to see when you get fills, to simulate different market conditions related to your orders. And this gives you a way to do back testing, to do stress testing, all of that very easily right inside that same environment that Freeway provides you. What we do is basically give you the ability to use live data, but also to record your own market data if you want to, for example, test after hours, or you want to replay a specific condition from earlier in the day. You can do that right out of the box with some algorithms that we provide to manage that recording and that playback. We also have partnerships with data providers that allow you to easily get data from any other sources, or farther back into history, in a lot of different resolutions, everything from tick to daily to, I guess if you wanted weekly, we could do that also. And we'll provide that and load it right into our system for you to allow you to really backtest any algo that you're trying to do.
Andrew, I know we have a lot of people ask us if they can bring in their own data feeds or their own historical data that they have into our system, or even their own exchange connection. Are they able to do that? Or how do they do that, I guess?
They do. So in addition to supporting all the major exchanges that OptionsCity has supported for years, we also have a virtual exchange that we call our CX, our City Exchange. And what that does is basically allows you to connect to different exchanges that we're not directly connected to yet. So for example, we have customers that say, hey, we need to trade for regulatory reasons on this fairly esoteric exchange. We don't expect you guys to connect to it because obviously it's something that's kind of one-off for us. But we'd love the ability to have our programmers write to that exchange. And we do provide that through our City Exchange connector that just acts as a conduit between your code to connect to the exchange and our software. Additionally, some customers that already have exchange connectivity to a centralized order book or to any kind of centralized consolidated feed can then just link their consolidated feed to our system and instantly have access to their entire back end through OptionsCity. In the same way, if you have historical data, we have a common format that you can use to load your own historical data if you don't want to have to deal with another third-party provider or anything. You can simply put that into the proper format and load that right into our system, and you can play it through our simulator. Here's a view of our simulator here. You'll see this is on the main OptionsCity on-ramp window, and what this does is gives you the ability to run a variety of market data playback files and run it at several different speed intervals. So, depending on if you're trying to simulate a faster market or if you're trying to just blow through a month worth of simulation in a few minutes, you can do that very easily with our simulator software. So, as I touched upon, the most important consideration when you're designing your algo system is making sure that the money you spend and the time and the effort that you spend is going to be something that's going to be useful for a while. That's going to form a good base that you can build on and adapt to very quickly. By using a platform like Freeway and a language like Java, what you buy into and the environment you end up with is something that's going to be continually maintained both by OptionsCity on the Freeway side, but also by, as I said, the thousands of developers around the world on the Java side. So you're going to be constantly getting the most up-to-date, the fastest code, the best stuff. And with a lot of our customers that have used more proprietary tools and languages, they've quickly found that new features that they want to use, or new views or new environments that they want to use to develop, they end up having kind of a lead time before the single vendor that supports that proprietary language is able to add those features or those those environments. And sometimes they're not even able to add them at all, because obviously if it's a proprietary language, it's all customer driven, and you have those considerations. So Freeway is really designed to let you create your ideal trading system out of a lot of very common, very well understood pieces, and put those together very effectively to ultimately end up with a very versatile, very flexible, very scalable platform that will be a great core for your business for months and years to come.
Question: we have a lot of brilliant traders, and they're strictly traders. We have some traders that are traders and developers and quant guys, but a lot of our traders are just floor traders that used to be on the floor and then migrated to the screens, and they can electronically trade now. But by no means are they developers. Like, what's out there for guys like that want to use Freeway? Like, are there guys they can hire that could, some guys don't even want to spend their time coding because they feel their time is more valuable trading and making money. So what do they do? Like, can they hire guys that you guys recommend, or do you guys have people that they could hire? Hey, here's what I want to do. Can you code this into Freeway?
Absolutely. So we have a couple things that we've really built out to help those types of traders. The first thing I would point people to is our Algo store. Our Algo store basically is a collection of algorithms that both OptionsCity and third-party developers have built on the Freeway platform that are designed to really get you into the world of algorithm trading. Now, as you can imagine, these algorithms are not designed to be your secret sauce, your money makers, but rather, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, they're designed to be kind of that extra set of hands. So the algorithms you'll see are execution algorithms. So if you want to, for example, work an order near the market mid, or you want to use an electronic eye, or you want to hedge your portfolio periodically with options, hedge your delta position with options. These are the kind of algorithms that you'll find in our Algo store. And what's nice is it's a fixed price, it's a known cost of entry. You buy that, and then you can start running it and have your algo trading environment set up and ready to go. What we found is a lot of the customers that start by downloading Algos from the Algo store start to get a lot of great ideas and things that they'd like to do to enhance their day-to-day operations that aren't yet built on the Algo store. So for those customers, we have a list of our certified developers, and these are developers that we've worked with in the past that have written production code on OptionsCity, on the Freeway software, that are available to work as consultants for traders to build out the code to build out the algorithms that the traders want, the custom algorithms. And this is kind of where you get into that cocktail napkin code conversion strategy. This is where we find that the traders themselves spend a lot of time refining their algo and refining the performance and refining how the actual logic works, and then the developer can then take that spec that the trader gives and very quickly convert that into a working piece of code and a working algorithm that then is owned by the trader and is proprietary to the trader. So that's about it for my presentation here. I'll end with just a couple quick screenshots of what our system looks like. This is our main on-ramp console, where you can see all your orders, you can see your algorithms currently working in the market, and you can configure those algorithms on the fly. This is our visualization dashboard where you have a variety of different ways to actually tweak how your algos are working. And through these two systems and these two windows, the user has a lot of control. It's not just start it and then have no idea what's happening. These allow you to see at any given point what is going on with your software.
All right, and just a final kind of housekeeping note. You can see here that the first 20 webinar attendees to contact Sarah McNabb at OptionCity.com via email can receive a complimentary admission code to the Chicago Algorithmic Trading Conference taking place here in Chicago at the W Hotel on June 12th. So go ahead and get on that. It is a heavy discount, being free. And that's kind of our last housekeeping note. I'll look and see if we have any questions from the audience now. The first question I'm seeing: can Advantage Futures host Option City Freeway? Yes, of course it can. What language does Freeway program in? The programming language is Java, but it can be any kind of language that delineates down to bit code. We do have people using it in Scala as well. Read some more of the questions here. How does one become a consulting developer? You can see the contact information for Option City right here. Go ahead and shoot an email reaching out and saying that you're interested, and then we can kind of take you through the approved developers kind of migration from there. Can you discuss the most effective way to get involved? I'm not sure specifically what you mean, but of course, you have the ability to, contact Option City or Advantage Futures about what you'd like to get involved with, whether it's knowing more of either one of our products and services, platforms, hosting, clearing, etc. You can see our contact information, and then we can elaborate, for the individual audience as well. And that's kind of closing from us. If there's no more questions, I just saw one come in that's asking if there's direct market access to the CME. Yes, of course we have that. And we'll put the slide back up for the Algo conference. We're looking forward to it, coming up pretty soon here. I know that both myself and Andrew have been in some of the planning meetings for this, and not only the kind of schedule of events and some of the speakers that are coming, but also some of the interactive technology for the audience participation as well is very exciting for us. So hopefully, if you haven't yet emailed Sarah as one of the first 20 people to get a free pass for it. All right. In closing, I guess I think we want to thank Advantage Futures for doing another webinar with us. It's always very appreciated. We're glad to have you guys over to the office.
There's one more question. What is Sarah's email? If you can still see the screen, it's smcnabb@optioncity.com. It's the second line up there.
2 B's in McNabb.
2 B's.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Thanks, everyone, for joining the webinar. And feel free to contact Option City or Advantage Futures directly with further questions.
Thank you, everyone.